I have some reasons to do an early gameplay video for Skymats, and so there's not a lot for me to show off, but there is enough in the game for me to show off the potential I think the game has and to basically explain some of the basic concepts in the game. All right, so we'll start the game in the tutorial section, which I will quickly complete because it is not very important. But also, it's a decent introduction to some of the things in the game. So right now we're mining stuff. Yes, you can mine stuff, and you'll collect it, and you will. Okay, I just upgrade too many things at once. All right, so tutorial section is just going to introduce you to the basic movement mechanics and the mining mechanic. There's some other stuff later that you'll have to learn, not on your own, but in the world. And so once we Oh yeah, we'll also introduce combat, but I haven't programmed that section yet because this is all work in progress. Everything is work in progress and is subject to change. I feel like that is obvious, but might as well say that out loud. Okay, so imagine that we went and defeated an enemy. Well, now we're going to bring the loot back to our elevator platform and select the fuel cell that we don't have. So we're just going to select the stone, and this is intended to show off the fuel efficiency mechanic, which I'll explain later. But quickly now, let's get through the tutorial. So right now our elevator is obstructed. So yes, what the hell is Skymats? So Skymats is a 2D action adventure platforming game about mining stuff and not going down to mine stuff. It's about going up to mine stuff. You must, you're working, so the player like assumes the role of an employee for a company, a mining company, which specializes in going to the very, very dangerous Imperium, and which is basically just like super space, and harvesting resources from that. And so as we rise, we're going to encounter several different regions of the Imperium and several different enemies, um, resources, and like I got a bunch of boss fights planned, and eventually you'll reach the top of the Imperium, which is the hardest to survive in. And if you do that, you will be able to mine the coveted Skymats, which are incredibly dangerous to get and therefore need some highly skilled players to, not highly skilled, but maybe highly upgraded players to reach. So over the course of the game, you will be fueling this elevator by supplying it materials. And right now, this is not the fuel. This is the fuel efficiency feature where some items, interesting, where some items, as you collect them, you will no longer need them for upgrades. So you can spend them to increase the efficiency of your fuel, and they'll all have different efficiency values. You also get some information about how much money you get for turning them in and how much fuel you actually gain from turning them in. It's like here's a I don't know what this is because let's go find out. It looks like copper in my inventory, but the item IDs are all jumbled right now, so it's tin. Oh, here we have a green thin protecting his coveted Sky Island. But yeah, um, and he's below the boundary. Oh, here's a vector weevil. All right, here we can actually use this. Here, go up for me, please. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't have a good enough grappling hook. It's too hard to hit him. Come here. All right, let's stop dilly-dallying. Things to do. If I could get my jetpack to come back, maybe be able to fly. Okay. So yeah, we'll disable the engines right now. This is a goofy system. I'm trying to turn it into a button that you can just click on the UI, but things are still in the works. All right, so as you may have noticed, we have an auto attacking system that why am I diving for him? Auto attacking system that allows the player to prioritize movement instead of focusing on like hitting attacks and getting like bullets off. So like imagine a game like Terraria where you're flying around the boss fight and you have to shoot the boss with your guns. That's not what I really want to be the focus of this game. I want the player to just fly at the bosses and like dodge all the attacks. Just be focused on that. And so later in the game, there is potential for activity, like action. What's the word I'm looking for? Actionable shots, where like where the player is actively like using abilities to fight enemies, and there's a lot of potential for that. And I'm definitely going to lean toward that. I mean, the game right now is trending toward a direction where I give the player lots of freedom to choose their play style. But right now, at the beginning of the game, everything is so simple that we might as well. I'm not worried about programming that stuff right now. I want to program bosses and enemies, at least a couple of them first. Get things sorted out with the basic game. And so I have there's 50,000 height, as you can see at the top. This tiny white number. We have four at 4,000 height. There's 50,000 height worth of like materials to find, but there's only two enemies and stuff. So yeah, I'm obviously adding more content. It's just it's a slow process. And also, what are some other things I can show you? Well, this is a multiplayer game, and I have a lot of netcode written for multiplayer interactions, and so I don't have somebody to play with me. But maybe at the end of the game, I can boot up another player, like a client, and show off some of the client stuff. But it's pretty standard. I mean, it'll work the way you expect it to. Just another player running around the world with me and upgrading and stuff, and like feeling the elevator. There's a lot of interesting ideas and potential with this game right now. So yeah, I'm kind of jumping all over the place because I just had a bunch of ideas at once. Sorry about that. If there's any questions or like any ideas that I don't go over, just ask me in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. So yeah, I don't think I explained the auto attack, or at least, no, I did explain the auto attack, but not how speed bonuses work. You do more damage based on how fast you go, and you also cool down the auto attack the faster you're moving. So if you're moving incredibly fast, you're going to be sending out lots of attacks and lots of high damage attacks, which means that if there's ever an invasion where there are lots of enemies on the screen and you are just grappling between the floating islands and flying around with your jetpack as fast as possible, you're going to be dealing a lot of damage, and that's pretty fun. A lot of the boss fights will be like I have a boss fight planned where let's go back to the platform. I have a boss fight planned where it's a floating island that isn't moving, just kind of situated above, and you won't be mining it, but you will be fighting off a horde of enemies as they this is like the first boss fight I have planned. As they like fly around, and you will be kind of, oh, my grappling hook is not very good right now, so let me go up and upgrade that. I do have a lot of gold saved. Yeah, we are level 1. And the upgrades are unbalanced, so I'll become powerful very quickly, yes. Okay, I'm dead. My auto attack hit maybe I'll remove that, or you hit the projectiles with your auto attack. I don't know. That's a good idea, because I went to hit the green thin and I ended up hitting the projectile and then slamming into the green thin and taking damage. Eh, it's a vid game design, man. All right, so we have all these floating islands. Okay, during the boss fight, I'll probably we have a lot of empty space up here, and we can glitch the camera out to show. We have some empty space up here, so we'll have like a boss, like a giant circle, and you can grapple around it really, really fast while enemies are swarming you. And so it's just not a decent introduction to how the movement is supposed to work in this game, and the expectations of the player to just go really fast and hit mobs, because you can just circle around the circle while killing a bunch of enemies. Oops, hit the camera go backwards there. This is around default. And I have lots of ideas, and very excited to see them through. So I don't know if I have any other gameplay left to show that isn't maybe like reskins of the standard. Like there's a lot of places we can go. Let's just go until the engines run out. Now I have to micromanage. We're obstructed over here as well. There we go. Here, let's get rid of these. Let's very slowly get rid of this sky island. Maybe at this point I can get a second player, and I don't know if I know my clients are not up to date. Just revealing my desktop here. This is very smart of me. I know my client isn't up to date, but it shouldn't be. Here, let's get a server up. It shouldn't be too far behind. All right, so where's the other player? I gotta move him real quick. Oh yeah, here he is. All right, so let me get the client player who's just joined. Oh yeah, he still has some of the old tech. He still has some of the old stuff. This client is behind a couple updates. Ooh, nice. But as you can see, I have debug text on some of the spears. Come here, green then. But most of the stuff is most of the calculations are handled by the server. So as long as the server is up to date, I think this will be fine. There you go. So yeah, this is client player, and as you can see, it's not a big difference. He's got to rediscover all the items, and I don't have the inventory isn't synchronized yet. Oh, it's not even. Can I click yet? Oh, I don't have the auto burn system on the client. That's funny. All I would have to do is update it, but I'm kind of doing this video on the fly. Here, let's get some more. Also, the platform's a little jittery. I imagine it's updating slowly. Oh, it doesn't go down all the way either. Also, I don't have the same font. Oh, the tiny little things. All the tiny little things. We are soon going to reach the section of the game that I don't have programmed background colors for. So as soon as we reach that section, I'm probably done recording. But I'm thinking right now we've traveled about 5,000 height. I'm thinking this game goes to maybe 50,000 because things are going to start slowing down a little bit. But also there will be um, more opportunity for the player to like stand around doing things and making progress instead of flying. That's not entirely true. I don't really know because that part of the game isn't very developed. I'll be honest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But there's a lot of, I'd be interested in reading comments about ideas and stuff. Yeah, here we go. We're in space now. At least that's the intention. And it's just like it's just black. It just turns black. Very disorienting if you're flying like I am. Okay, green thin. He just killed me. There's no there's no special effects for stuff. I want to handle the special effects during the art pass, so I'm kind of waiting. And also sound effects and stuff. Kind of waiting for that to be ready. Now we're out of fuel. Well, that's annoying. We don't have any efficiency selected, I think, which I'll have to go back to the main guy and select my efficiencies. That'll help us a bit. Oh, we have no fuel. Okay, so the fuel and efficient, like we have items in our inventory, but those aren't like converted into fuel. It's kind of weird. But you gain fuel and money whenever you depot items, and they will also be added to your inventory slot. So those are separate actions. So we need to continue depoting new material in order to gain fuel. And having material in our storage is not going to increase our fuel. I want these to be separated so that the player doesn't have to like worry about sacrificing upgrade resources for fuel because fuel is like first of all, it comes from so many different targets or like you know targets other sources, that's the word. It comes from so many different sources that like I don't want the player to accidentally just delete a valuable upgrade resource because for like fuel because it comes from everything. It's like I want to differentiate some of the important upgrades from the non-important upgrades. I hope that makes some sort of sense, but oh, he can't go down either. Okay, so this character, he doesn't have the ability to launch himself downward with the jetpack. I remember I recently added that. But yeah, and he also has a separate inventory because it's not synchronized. But yeah, all right, we're looping, which means there's 50,000 height worth of materials to find, and there's not enough enemies, so like I don't have anything else to show you. Goodbye.